Who's been to this seminar before? Presenting Islam to fellow Americans? Okay, so it's not as many as I thought. Well, we're going to do some stuff differently, actually, for those who have been here, but for those who haven't, inshallah, it'll be new and improved. We have a shorter amount of time than we usually do, so we're going to cover the important things. My section is going to be on what to say and how to say it, actually. So when you are presenting Islam to others, whether it's in a personal setting or in a public setting, what you should cover and how you should cover. Okay, so that's going to be my section. And then Brother Dawood will cover in terms of when you're asked about Islam, so frequently asked questions, and then inshallah practicing some of that. So that's how we're going to proceed. In the past, we've covered a lot about public speaking, before we go into the actual substance of what you say. Now, that I do believe that is useful, especially when you're going and doing it in public. It also helps you in your interpersonal communications. But I think that you can actually get a lot of that, and I'm not saying that it's not important. You can get a lot of that by reading certain books. If you want to get that, then I will recommend that. Dale Carnegie's book on public speaking. If you just look that up at any bookstore, that will be a very useful thing. So if you are going to go and give a public speech or you want to learn how to speak effectively, that's a good one. But today we're going to focus much more on what you actually say and how you should say it. So first of all, this is similar to any of our other presentations. The most important thing when you go to speak is to be prepared. Okay? It's actually to be prepared. It's preparation. And I've usually spent a lot of time on what that means. But I'm going to go into the most important things in preparation. Okay? Because if you're not prepared to speak, whether it's speaking to somebody on a one-on-one basis or speaking publicly, you're not going to do well. Okay? And preparation, you may have been preparing your whole life. So it may not be some formal preparation that you've done. You may have been preparing your whole life, but you must be prepared beforehand. You must have thought about it. You must have actually practiced it. You must have, reflected on what you are going to say in certain situations. Okay, so preparation is the most important thing. Within preparation, the most important thing. What's the most important thing within preparation? Anybody have any idea? If you've been to this before, don't say it. Okay, practice, that's good. That's good.
Research the idea.
Okay, research, that's important. Okay, remember, we are Muslims. What's the most important thing in preparation? So I'm giving you a hint. Say it louder. What we're saying? Dua. Okay, it's very close to what we're talking about. Niyya. Okay, exactly. Intention. Exactly. Before you do anything, this goes without saying. It's something very basic. Inshallah, we were taught when we were very young, and if we weren't, inshallah, now we'll remember this. But it's niyya. Innama al-a'malu bin-niyyat. Right? So when we take an action as a Muslim, we cannot forget this. It's not just in the context of something that we consider to be traditionally ibadah or something like that. This is, and any action that we take, it's our intention. Okay? And this is especially so when we're going to speak about Islam or tell anybody about Islam. Because this will affect how we speak and what we do and what we say. And you'll see that when we talk about some of the points later. So it's niyyah. So that's very, very important. Set your niyyah straight. Why are you speaking? Why are you talking to this person about Islam? Right? Is it just because you're taking it personally as a person? Not as a Muslim, or that it's not that you're trying to defend Islam or the Prophet, peace be upon him, or something like that. You're just taking it personally. Is that why you're speaking about Islam? Are you speaking about Islam to impress others? Are you doing it because you're angry? What's your intention? Is your intention to change somebody's heart about Islam? Is your intention to bring a more positive image to Muslims in Islam? Or to the Prophet, peace be upon him? Is that what your intention is, right? So make sure that your intention is straight, right? Another part of preparation, and you had mentioned dua, exactly, is making supplication to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Before you speak, right? There's a dua for that. Does anybody know it? Exactly. رَبِّ اشْرَحْ لِي صَدْرِي وَيَسِّرْ لِي أَمْرِي وَاحْلُلْ عُقْدَةً مِنْ لِسَانِي يَفْقَهُوا قَوْلِي. That's from Surah Taha, and that's Musa alayhi salam asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right? He went, and when he was told that he had to go and convey the message of Islam and tell his people about Islam and go and talk to Pharaoh, then he made dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is in the Quran. Right? And so we learn from that example. He said, رَبِّ اشْرَحْ لِي صَدْرِي. Allah, expand my chest. Right? So why do you have to expand your chest when you speak?
Patient.
Patience, okay?
You overcome your anxiety.
Okay, you overcome your anxiety, right? A lot of times when we speak, especially, see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you know, these are words of wisdom, right? Like, when you're speaking, especially when you're speaking about something important, you know, a lot of times when you have to speak about Islam, unfortunately nowadays you're in a little bit of a tense situation, right? Whether it's in public or even if you're speaking to somebody and you're talking to them, what starts to happen? Your heart might start beating a little bit faster, your chest gets a little bit tighter, right? It's a little bit harder to breathe. You'll find yourself doing it. You know, like when you're trying to get whatever it is out. So, Rabbi shtaq yourself. Allah, expand my chest. Okay? Make my matter easy. Again, we're asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for this. Okay. Make the impediment of my tongue better. Right? Remove the impediment from my tongue. Now, Musa alayhi salam said that he had a list or something similar. And so he was asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for that. We all have these types of impediments in our tongue, so to say, right? When we speak, we all have something that gets in the way of our communication, whatever it may be. So we're, again, putting our trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we're asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to remove that. We're putting our trust in Him. Okay? It's very important because before we speak, if we have this trust in Allah and we really ask Him, then inshallah, it'll make our speech better and our communication a lot better. Make them understand. So again, what is this saying? It's saying that we don't have the control over whether somebody understands us or not. Right? It's saying, Allah, make them understand. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who can open up somebody's heart or who can change somebody's mind. So what does that do? That should put you at ease that, inshallah, if you try your best, communicate in the best way, try to follow the example of the Prophet, peace be upon him, and how he used to speak to others in a nice manner, and we'll talk about those things, you know, in a calm manner, with mercy and rahmah, then if you do those things, then it's up to Allah whether that person changes their mind about Islam, or that they become nicer to you, or whatever it may be, right? The result is up to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So don't get frustrated, don't get impatient with it, don't get, you know, discouraged, right? So this is very important. So we got our intentions straight, we made our dua, now, you know, we speak. So now I'm not going to get into, as I said, a lot of the technical aspects of speaking, but now, you're speaking to somebody about Islam. One of the most important things I'm seeing when we're speaking, especially nowadays, about Islam, is not to get defensive. Okay? Again, that's why your intention is important. What are you going in there for? Right? What's your objective? The objective, inshallah, is to, you know, convey some truth about Islam, change misconceptions that somebody may have about Islam, so that they have a true understanding of Islam and Muslims. Right? That's what you want. Now, whether somebody accepts Islam or not, again, that's up to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That should not always be your objective when you're speaking to somebody. Right? You can make dua for that, whatnot, but you are going in there at least to try to get the truth out, so that they at least know the truth about Islam. Let somebody else make that decision. You know, let them make that decision. So, don't be defensive. Okay? When you start out, don't be defensive about Islam. Don't put that in your head. Right? Go in with a positive attitude when you're speaking to anybody, whether it's one-on-one or in public or whatever it may be. Be realistic, but go in with a positive attitude. Okay? Don't go in angry. Because I'll tell you, whatever you have inside of you, internally, whatever you're thinking, that's going to show. Right? If you're angry, if you're defensive, you can't hide it. It's going to be very hard. Even the best actor wouldn't be able to hide it. Right? And what's going to happen? They don't necessarily know. You don't know why that person, they really made their only view of Islam, maybe from Fox News. That's it. That really may be the only thing they've ever heard about Islam. They may truly believe that you kill their children. But they may truly believe that. And this is a true, I'm saying that because I just saw this maybe a month ago at the Canton Public Library where we did a presentation on Islam, just Muslims in America.